So the Liberals, they want to tax and giving a rebate. Tax and rebate. Scheer, it's tax and subsidies. So it's the same thing. Both of them are hypocrites. They are not telling the truth to Canadians, and we're the only party who's telling the truth. And that, I think that will help us in a couple of months from now.
David Menzies for the Rebel.media. Well, I'm outside the Royal Canadian Military Institute. Inside, in a matter of moments, there will be a press conference by Maxime Bernier. He will be announcing 40 new People's Party of candidates for the upcoming election, and one of the most notable candidates is surely Renetta Ford. Mrs. Ford is the widow, of course, of the late Mayor of Toronto, Rob Ford. So let's go in and see what Mr. Bernier has to say.
We have more than 40,000 members, riding association all across the country, and people like you will help us to build a party. And me, what I'll do, I will help you in your ridings, help you in your election, to be sure that people understand our message all across the country. Congratulations, and thank you very much.
Regarding Mrs. Ford, did you approach her, or did she express interest, and why is she a suitable candidate for the roles of your party?
Yeah, I'm very proud that she's with us. Yes, she's approached us and our team, and we were in contact, and so she decided to run, and I'm very happy. And you know, I had tough time in politics a couple of years ago, and she had tough time also. But she's there with us, and she believes in our ideas, and she's ready to fight, and that's great, and I'm very happy. And we'll have candidates that are ready to fight for their people. That's the most important.
Well, I'm with Maxime Bernier, the leader of the People's Party of Canada, here at a Toronto press conference announcing a slew of candidates. The number is up to 271 across Canada. And Mr. Bernier, you made some very interesting remarks. One of them was the Conservative Party of Canada is not a conservative party anymore. It is intellectually and morally corrupt. Can you flesh that out? What exactly do you mean by that statement?
Well, you know, if you believe in free markets, you must abolish the cartel in dairy, poultry, and eggs, and you don't want to do that. You know, Canadians will save $400. Canadian family will save $400 a year. So usually, when you're a conservative, you believe in free markets. They don't. If you're a conservative, usually you want to balance the budget. They won't do that. Scheer said that he will be able to balance the budget in 2 years when he was running for the leadership of his party. And after that, he said the same thing. But now he said to Canadians that he will balance the budget only in 2 terms, so in 5 years. He wants to spend and spend and spend more money, like the Liberals. So that's why I'm saying now they're a centrist party. And I'm not saying that. Scheer said that a couple of times. We are a centrist and pragmatic party with no ideas. What we're going to tell you, it's only what you want to hear, that they're doing politics like that.
You know, it seems to me, Mr. Bernier, that June was a very bad month for Mr. Scheer and the Conservative Party. First of all, as we spoke before about this, they were essentially waving the white flag of surrender about Section 13, the pro-censorship, anti-free speech clause being brought into the Canadian Human Rights Act, which Mr. Harper himself got rid of in 2013. Then we had Salim Mansour, what people would consider to be a star candidate, being dismissed. The unspoken reason being Mr. Scheer worried about stories in regard to Islamophobia. This is from a Muslim calling out to radical Islam. And then, of course, we had Mr. Scheer release his environmental plan, which a lot of Conservatives found very lukewarm and disappointing, and not much better than what the Liberals have. What's your assessment of the month that was?
It was not a good month for him, but it was not a good month also for the Conservative supporters. And they must look at our platform. Speaking about free speech, we're the only party with a strong platform on free speech. We just issued that 2 days ago. We want to be sure that Section 13 won't come back in this country. We want to change the criminal code to be sure that we'll have free speech, and we want to be sure that the Charter of Rights will be respected in this country. Speaking about balancing the budget, he won't do that. Speaking about climate change, Andrew Scheer said that now is greener than the Liberals. And he said, I have more engagement on climate change with 52 engagement, more than the Liberals. So the Liberals, they want to tax and giving a rebate. Tax and rebate. Scheer, it's tax and subsidies. So it's the same thing. Both of them are hypocrites. They are not telling the truth to Canadians, and we're the only party who's telling the truth. And that, I think that will help us in a couple of months from now.
And Mr. Bernier, on the theme of free speech, you had made a remark, I believe, this will be the election where political correctness will be dead, will be over. And I'm interpreting that as meaning that if a candidate says something slightly off color or risque or politically incorrect, they will not be thrown under the bus and fired automatically, which seems to be de rigueur these days. Is that what you meant by that?
Absolutely, absolutely. Our candidates, they are with us because they share our values. They share the Canadian civilization, Canadian values and Western civilization values, free markets, free speech, respect, and tolerance. And that's part of us, and that's the basic of our party. But yes, they're new in politics. They can do some debate, and I hope they will debate. And maybe they can do some mistake, but that will be okay. They are learning, and for us, you're right, that's the end of the political correctness. And you know, everybody is doing some mistake. I did some mistake in the past. They will do some mistake. We'll deal with it when that will happen.
Mr. Bernier, I'm wondering, judging by the media scrum that ensued, it seems that Renetta Ford, the widow of the late Mayor Rob Ford, is the star candidate of this bunch you announced today. I'm wondering, given the way in which Mayor Ford was treated during his term by the media, which I would characterize as being highly unfair. They were even camping out at his house and what have you. Do you think this kind of scenario awaits Renetta Ford, that she's now got a target on her back by those in the media that are anti-Ford?
You know, I hope the media will be honest, and you know, that's her first time in politics. She has a lot of experience and she's ready. She knows that that can happen, but I hope that it won't happen. I hope that they will respect her. And actually, for me, she's a great candidate like the other candidates. We have David, that is a professor at the university. We have business people with us. We have a lot of candidates with different backgrounds. But you know, we'll see what will happen. But I hope that the media will be respectful.
And how about for yourself and for other members of the People's Party of Canada? Needless to say, what you're campaigning on goes against the mainstream media narrative. And I think we're entering the summer sleepy season now, but post-Labor Day, I think we're really going to see ramped up coverage of the election. Are you hopeful of at least getting a fair shake from the media?
I hope so. I hope so. Also, you know, that's important for us. We will be part, I hope, and I think we will be part of the national debates. There's one condition for us, having 304 candidates. We'll have 338 candidates. So the fact that we'll be at the national debates, that will give us more visibility. And I have to be out there. We have a different message. If you look at our platform, it's very different than the other political parties. So for us, we represent some Canadians. Maybe we don't represent 100% of Canadians. That's okay. That's not our goal. But we represent a lot of Canadians that believe in these ideas and in our platform. And that's why they must give us a fair share of coverage. And I'll see. I hope it will happen, but I don't know.
One last question, Mr. Bernier.
But I know that I will have a fair share of coverage with you guys.
Well, we tried to tell the other side of the story, that's for sure. One last question, Mr. Bernier. You used the phrase common sense revolution. That was the slogan for the Mike Harris Conservatives. It sure worked for him in 1995 and again in 1999, two majority governments in this province. Do you think that slogan works today, or perhaps is there even more of an appetite in 2019 for a common sense revolution?
I think so. I think so. With all this political correctness everywhere, every politician, they're afraid to speak, and they have to do a focus group before speaking to Canadians. So I think that's a renew, and people are ready for a new common sense revolution. Yeah.
Well, there you have it, folks. Plenty of fighting words directed at both Prime Minister Justin Trudeau and the leader of the Conservative Party of Canada, Andrew Scheer. It's fitting that we are at the Military Institute. After all, come October, it's gonna be war. For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Hey folks, you know at The Rebel we like to tell the other side of the story, so if you like this video, press like and subscribe, and never miss another Rebel video.